Now, as Nigeria heads towards the 2027 election, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu faces significant challenges. His administration claims it has made progress in fighting insurgency and crime, while also working to reduce Nigeria's oil dependency through economic diversification. However, a rise in inflation, unemployment, and a heavy debt burden are fueling the cost of living crisis, testing the patience of the public. Additionally, political divisions, including concerns over electoral legitimacy and regional tensions, complicate his leadership. The success of his economic policies will be key to his political future. Experts believe that his ability to deliver on promises made for job creation and economic stability will likely define his legacy and impact his prospects in the 2027 election. Now, joining us now for a chat about APC's performance in government and why President Tinubu deserves a second term in office is a chieftain of the party, Cletus, Obun. I want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Newsday. And let's get started. What's your verdicts on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's time as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria so far?
Well, the scorecards are there for everybody to see. The rough edges notwithstanding, Nigerians today have built more confidence, contrary to the naysayers and those who have become professional lamentators who engage in hyper-criticism for the sake of criticism and for political gains. As a country, Nigeria today can boast within the West African sub-region, the African continent, and in the world in general, especially after the last trip to Brazil and the recent one, that Nigerians have become, not only in sports, but also in the economy, continue to see the rise and stability, both in our currency and, of course, the debt profile, which everybody talks about. Everybody will also agree that it was not a cumulative effect of the 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. It is a cumulative effect of our own national malaise, which came in from 1999 to today. So if you agree with me that Nigeria has made progress, that progress is predicated on verifiable and cogent factors and indices in sector by sector, agriculture, economy, education, health, and others. Like I said before in my opening remark, in the first sentence I made, that it is not yet Uhuru. In 2 years, I do think that a pass mark will not be too much to give to this administration under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Asiwaju of Lagos.
All right, the Asiwaju of Lagos, but he's the president of Nigeria. Let's focus on that. And Honorable Obun, I am just looking at pictures from the early 2010s, 2011, 2012, 2013, and pictures of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is out there protesting vehemently what he claimed was wanton corruption, lack of infrastructure, and poor governance overall by the Jonathan administration. And some would say, with empirical evidence, it's there for everyone to see, that what they protested then is 5 times better right now economically. This is not debatable. Because at a certain time, the minister, Wale Edun, also spoke about the fact that the Jonathan administration was stronger economically then, in 2013, 2014, than it is when they took over government. So how do you explain that there was a lot of caustic protestation in 2011, 2012, 2013 against the Jonathan administrator, and right now, that same set of politicians and people are now trying to explain away that life was better then than it is right now. And they're trying to say that now we are better off, but there is no empirical evidence to prove that or to back it up.
Well, I will not want to get into an economic class here, or political economy discussions because we're in the public domain. So if we go for seminars, we'll explain that. But to the general public and Nigerians who are listening to us this afternoon, let me make the point that what the protestations there were about profligacy. What is profligacy in the context in which we are referring to it now? That Nigeria had a budgetary benchmark for oil of $65 to a barrel. And under Jonathan's first 6 months, we made $115 per barrel. What we were asking for, which Nigerians today are reversing, is that under that situation, what did you get and what did you do with the excess crude? It was parcellated like robbers on a spree, like Robin Hood. It was being shared, and people were asking questions. What happened to excess crude? On the contrary, and conversely, the question now is, what is the income, what is the revenue basket of Nigeria? And this is where the issues were. And don't forget that the minister of, the coordinating minister of economy then, Okonjo-Iweala, had to tell Nigerians that the excess crude should be put into what she called the Sovereign Wealth Fund for a day in which oil prices were going to plummet and Nigeria will have to rely and fall back on that safety net. What did the Jonathan administration and his co-travelers do with the money at that time? They were asking questions that Nigerians were hungry and why should money be kept in the sovereign nature. But shortly after he left, the predictions of Okonjo-Iweala came to pass. Nigeria's oil dropped from 195, 65 to 32 to $22 to $11. At a point, immediately Buhari came into office, Nigeria could barely sell its oil. Then came COVID-19 and a whole lot of others. And then borrowings came in. Nigerians don't want to put these things in perspective and agree that the aggravation of what even the Jonathan administration officers themselves predicted came to happen in 2015, immediately after Jonathan left. And then there was no fund to rely on. Oil production went down. Oil prices went down. And even the export of oil became a problem. In all this, to manage that economy, indeed, the International
Cletus,
Monetary Fund
Obun.
agencies gave us a pass mark for the recovery rate that Buhari administration under APC came out with.
For the brevity
because it was
of time.
magical, it was almost miraculous. Yes.
For the brevity
so
of
I'm
time.
telling you that
Yes.
the circumstances, the excess oil that we got, the excess crude we got, was not managed well. And that was what the protest was about. Today, can we also say the same? That we are even meeting up our own benchmark?
Time will not
If we are
permit
not,
us to delve
Okay.
into the history books because a contentious issue was the removal of fuel subsidy. But we'll leave that for another day. We'll leave that for another day. All right, we've run out of time. I want to say thank you very much, Honorable Cletus Obun, for your time here on News.